Welcome to the I Love Coaching podcast, where we believe coaching solves everything.
Welcome back, everybody, to the I Love Coaching podcast. I am your host today, Adam Roach, and today we have a man who, in my opinion, is easy to describe, and here's why. Number one, he loves the outdoors. Wait till he tells you about his Jeep and the land that he just bought. Number two, he is a kick-ass real estate agent and a team builder. I'll let him tell you about his $100 million team. And he is also an I Love Coaching coach. And I'm super excited and super proud to have my friend and partner, Nate Gainey, join us today on the I Love Coaching podcast. Nate, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Adam. I'm excited to be here and certainly looking forward to diving deep with you on this call and just talking about whatever the conversation leads us to.
It's going to be pretty simple. We're going to be talking about you. How's that sound?
I've always heard that it's easy to talk about yourself. I love to talk, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, the clock is ticking, my friend. So you were born, and then what happened? Tell us who Nate Gainey is.
Oh, so I was born small town USA, Hartsville, South Carolina. Grew up there, lived there till the age of 19. At 19, I moved to Charleston, South Carolina. I decided that I needed to close the business that I was in. I acquired a business when I was in my teens, ran it for a little while, but basically decided that if I did not leave small town USA, I was going to get sucked in and stay there forever. I just saw bigger things for myself than that. So, no offense to small town USA. I love it. That's where I'm from. That's, my heart is there, from Hartsville. So that's the thing. But, I just wanted to expand and, see what else was capable and see what else was out there. So from there, I came here to Charleston. I worked retail for a while. And after having my own store for a number of years and, being the boss and, being that leader, it was a little bit challenging for me to step into a role where I was no longer leading and no longer able to have, complete control of myself and my schedule. So
are you brewing some coffee or something? Well, I love that.
It just finished. Yeah, I'm just actually right here beside me. I apologize. I'm here in Austin in this hotel room. So I've got my hotel coffee ready.
Well, that's the beauty of these podcasts. These are live, brother. These are fully organic. So, gang, it is early where he is, and that's why he's getting his coffee right now. So if you're hearing the coffee in the background, Nate Gainey likes coffee. I want to go back real quick. Tell us what small town USA, what did that feel like growing up in a small town, and define small? What was small?
So
how many stoplights did you have?
I don't know the population, for example, but I grew up on a farm where there's I can walk out the back door and scream and nobody's going to hear me. Nobody's going to care. If you want to, do some target practice in the backyard, no big deal. It was great. It was an awesome way to grow up. Without question, it helped me to become the person I am today. There's a good deal of diversity in the town itself, as well as the schools that I went to. Background wise, I did go to both public and private school. Of course, lots of diversity between both of those. Met lots of people in the process, and the people that we interact with and the little bit of things that we take from all the conversations that we have, they certainly shape us into who we become.
Yeah. So you really could walk out your backyard and scream and no one would hear you?
Yeah. It was great. I had the dirt bikes and then the four-wheelers when I got a little older. There was no there was animals. We had dogs and we had a couple goats and all the random farm creatures, but it wasn't the neighbor had cows, meaning that the neighbor was acres, multiple tens of hundreds of whatever it is acres away, half a mile a mile away. It was the neighbor had cows, so that was kind of neat. We'd go over there and look at the cows every now and then. But I grew up in nature and I loved being out in nature and getting on the dirt bike and just riding it just wherever with no. This is before cell phones, you could just go out and just. Thinking back, I don't know that I'd want my kid to do what I did. It was a wonderful experience, but from a mildly overprotective society that we live in today, the idea of just here's a dirt bike, it goes 75 miles an hour. You're 12. Don't kill yourself. And, that was the environment that I kind of grew up in.
That's cool. Well, I don't know if you knew this. So I think, second generation, kind of one and a half generations off of the farm in Indiana myself. So my great grandparents, actually my grandfather, and then his father and father, I think maybe five generations of roaches, if you will, in Indiana had thousands of acres of bean and cornfields and cows and chickens. So I know that feeling of the farm, but I did not grow up on in an area like that. So that's really cool to hear, man. So now go back to though, because now that nature foundation has traveled and carried on to where you are right now. Guys, you should see this man's Jeep. Tell us about the Jeep. That Jeep is insane.
Yeah, so I went from, I had two different BMW X5s, the big motor twin turbo V8,
Right.
Corvette type,
Mhm.
SUV. I loved those vehicles. Such a great driving machine. But I grew up in the middle of nowhere riding four-wheelers and dirt bikes and playing in the mud. I don't particularly want to get my Jeep all muddy and dirty because it's a hell to clean, quite frankly. But the experience makes it well worth it. I've got the Jeep's kind of souped up. I mean, it's got 38-inch tires and a 4-inch lift and lockers and all the stuff. It will literally go anywhere. It will literally go anywhere. I mean, there's a few spots that like some super custom made rock bouncers can go that I wouldn't try to take it, but outside of that, anywhere, not even normal, anywhere any extreme vehicle can go, I'll follow.
Nice. That's really good. Well, what'd you call it? A bouncer?
Yeah, the bouncers are basically, it's a cage with four wheels attached to it, and you've got a massive motor typically. Imagine like a V8 straight pipes with 40-inch tires and 1-ton axles. You can't kill the thing. Those you can roll them over, mash the gas, and go right back up. Those are the rock bouncers.
Oh, I love it. So I want to hear now about the entrepreneurial side of Nate Gainey, because I hear you kept referencing closing a business, starting a business, closing a business, moving on to Charleston. You sound like you started this business in your teens. What was that? Just curious.
So I worked at a place in my teens, in the Hartselle, and it was a great place. And I ended up managing it again, I was in my teens, I was in high school. So I ended up managing it, and then went from managing it to owning it, because the owner, for whatever reason, just didn't want to do it anymore.
Right.
So I went from managing it to owning it. And this was at 19. And so I was at 19, I was in college at USC, and I set my schedule up so that Tuesdays and Thursdays I had class all day. Wake up, class from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., no breaks, just go. Tuesday, Thursday. Wednesday, I did all of the school work associated with Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then I drive home Thursday and then work Friday, Saturday, usually Sunday, Monday, and then drive back again Tuesday morning or drive back Monday evening. And so I ran that way for a while, ended up, did 1 year at USC, and then I came back and I did a year at Francis Marion, similar schedule. And then from there, shortly after that is when I moved to Charleston.
Gotcha.
That was my first business. And not really even my first. I mean, I've been entrepreneurial forever. I remember my mom used to work at an auction, and I would go to the auction and people would just buy rows of just random crap. And I worked it a couple ways. I would get paid to help them load this stuff. So, I did that. And then I would also, the stuff that they didn't want, I'd be like, I'll take it, because I'm on a farm. I got plenty of space. And then I'd take the stuff and then I'd bring it back and then I'd sell it at auction. And I was probably 12 or 13 at that point. Before that, I worked with grandpa on the farm, and also did the little bottles. They used to give you 10 cents for a glass bottle. And they used to, back in the day, they used these glass bottles when they were planting certain kinds of crops. They'd line them up with these special rows, and then the bottles would hold the plastic off of the ground. So, I mean, there were thousands of them, and they kind of quit doing it that way. So there were thousands of these bottles. So, I mean, I made a good bit of money just turning in these bottles for a while there when I was a real young kid.
The recycling days. Yeah, we used to do the same thing in Indiana. We would take a bunch of cans, we dumpster dive for cans and go take those things and turn them in for what, a nickel or something like that.
Exactly.
But we walk away with a few $100 and that'd feel good as a teenager, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was probably my kid's age when I was doing that. I was like, 9 or 10 and, walk away with a few $100 and like, at 9 years old, you got, $300-400. You're like, why, especially back in the 80s,
Yeah, you're on top of the world.
Yeah, for sure.
You're ready to be on the cover of Fortune magazine or Forbes magazine. That's fun.
I thought I was something. I really did.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now let's transition. Okay. So it sounds to me like you're building this work ethic, right? So not only from a farm and a small town, understanding that work ethic, but then going into, think about this. You just said you're starting your college, 19 years old, and you're literally every day is time blocked. Monday, what do we got? Monday, Saturday, Sunday, Friday, all work. And then we've got school Tuesday, Thursday, and all day Wednesday, you're doing all your work, right?
Yes.
So now fast forward, you get out of college and what happens next?
So from college, I basically dropped out of college is what ended up happening. And the last year of having the business in South Carolina, which is, I think it was 21. Mm-hmm. I basically lived at the store. I didn't understand the concept as well as I needed to of like delegation. And, I felt like, so it's the reality of this situation that we're all in is if you can get somebody to help you do something and they can do it 80% as well as you can do it, then have them do it for sure. Like it's never going to be 100% of what you can do. And even if they do it better than you, it's going to be different than you in some situations. But I didn't figure that out. So like, I thought that like I had to do this and I had to do that and I had to do this and I had to have my hand in just everything. And it was burning me out because, I was literally like, I had a bunk bed at the store in my office where I would just sleep there several nights a week, working late, till the wee hours of the morning, trying to get these jobs done, knowing that there was like more jobs coming in that would need to be done that, I felt like I needed to be responsible for.
Yeah. So again, there's that sense of responsibility probably coming from your childhood. And now you're learning to leverage and delegate, right?
Yes.
So what happens next?
So from there, I came here and I worked. I actually worked in that environment where I was just a worker bee effectively. I worked retail. I did some installs, also again, car related stuff. So I did some installs at first. And then basically they wanted to put me in sales because I was in sales at my place, so I would want to go talk to the customers. Like they had salespeople up front. And then I'd want to go up there and be like, what you really need to do is this, 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 and this. And I don't know what they told you, but like, this is the path for your car that's right. And whatever it looks like, I just tell them what was right. And then they want, so then they got me into sales. So I enjoyed that, stopped doing installs as much. So that was okay for a while. I made decent money, as a 20-something-year-old kid. Did that for a while and then decided that I wanted to not work for someone anymore. I didn't want to be in that environment anymore. I wanted to, expand again. And so from there, what did I do from there? I started looking at and applying for jobs and I couldn't find a job that paid more than $20 an hour. And this was probably, what year was this? This would have been like early 2000s. I couldn't find a job that paid over $20 an hour without a 4-year degree, period. Not a single one of them cared what the degree was. It was just one of the requirements. It was a very limiting mindset for all the people as far as I'm concerned, because I now have the 4-year degree and don't use it at all. So it's very limiting mindset for people that were hiring people. Anyway, so I went and decided that I needed to go back to school. And so I actually went back to school again. So I went to the Art Institute and I did that at about 25. And that was an awesome experience. I got to, be in college again. I wasn't ready to grow up, I don't think, personally. Like I had not grown yet into the person that I needed to become to be able to, make $100,000 in a year type thing. I wasn't that person yet. I was still, I just wasn't there. We're growing every day, and every experience that we have, helps form us into who we're becoming. And like the person that I am today is not the person that I was 5 years ago. And it's certainly not the person I was in my mid 20s.
So we'll pause this story real quick because I want to go back and I'm taking notes here in my little notebook. So we went from understanding how to time block your time. We went from understanding what I mean, let's just call it hard work, right? Hard work meaning you were shouldering everything. You were doing everything under the sun in that role when you maybe could have been delegating. However, you learned about delegation there.
Mhm.
Then you went back into completing something, right? It sounded like something meant something to you to go back to school. So you actually went back and did it. And for all of you that don't know Nate, the Nate that I know gets stuff done, right? He'll say he's going to do it. He'll follow through and he gets it done. So it doesn't surprise me that you went back to school to go get another degree or to get your degree there. But now I love this language. You got to grow into the person you want to become to make $100,000. So at that moment in time, knowing that $100,000 was the goal, before you go into telling your story, you've got some listeners here right now that said, okay, fine, Nate, tell me more about what that means to grow into the person I want to become. Because we hear that all the time right now, right? There's so many different ways of saying that. In your own words, what would you suggest to that listener right now saying, what does that mean, Nate, that I have to grow into that person?
What's helped me most recently, and I literally just started about a year ago, is just journaling and writing down the things that, the goals, just having a vision on what I'm aiming for and where I'm going and what I want it to look like. And the ability to, like, once you figure out like where you're going, you can create that reality, and you'll start attracting things into your life that help create that reality and form that reality. That's maybe not as deep as you wanted to go on that, but
no, I mean, that was your own words. That's what I was looking for. So think about this. So all of our listeners right now, what Nate just said is you have to set the goals, you have to have a vision, you have to know where you're going, and you have to track that into your life. Now, at the same time, though, Nate, if you're going back and let's say you're giving this advice to your teenage self, knowing what you've accomplished now, we're getting ready to go into what you've accomplished. Gosh, what would you tell your teenage self? I mean, you guys just closed $100 million in sales, $100 million in sales. We're gonna tell that story. What would you tell your teenage self?
I would tell me, don't play small, don't think small. Don't think small is it was a limiting belief for me. Growing up in small town USA, $100,000 was like rich. Like, and today even like that is like, that's six figures. I mean, that's got some whatever, that's got around it. That meant a lot to me up until I actually did it. I would tell me to stop playing small. And I did play small. And quite frankly, the business at 19 was not me playing small. That was me stepping into like, all right, I'm going to do this. Right. Like, and I was get shit done. Like, I'm going to, whatever it takes, you know what I mean? Dedicated. And there was a bit of burnout associated with that, quite frankly. So I was not quite ready to grow up. That was the other thing of, getting out of small town USA. It wasn't as much the town as it was like the environment that I had created for myself was starting to like close in on me, and I felt trapped. So I needed to get away. So I had a few years of like, just going to a job where you work retail and all you do is sell stuff. Like, is your job like, yes, a job, but like compared to what I had just came from, it was freaking easy. And I'm going to get a paycheck. And it was just easy until I grew out of that mindset that, why am I being complacent and just accepting a paycheck? The only way for me to excel is to sell more stuff. And it's like, this isn't going to fulfill me for long at all either. That's why I went back to college and to complete the degree.
Right. Think about that, what you just said there. And I want everyone to hear this. Coming from a small town, you were a product of your environment based on your thoughts, right?
Yes, 100%.
And I love the word burnout. I'm going to come back to that in a second. Think about this, everyone that is listening or watching this on YouTube. You are who you surround yourself. You are the sum of the five people that you hang with, and you are the imagination and the knowledge of the five books that you're reading, and your environment is conducive to your next level of success. So what we just heard Nate say there was he was actually at a breaking point where he knew he needed to get out, not only from the standpoint of growing his environment, but also growing his thinking. So that's pretty powerful. So now check this out. I read in a book here recently that's not even out yet. So I was reading the manuscript that burnout, when you have and feel burnout, that really means that you have no vision, or you've lost a vision, or the vision isn't clear anymore. So that's what burnout means. So let's go through the burnout. So you've got through the burnout. Now when does real estate step in here?
I step into real estate after I finished college, actually. because, you know, it's like I'm now at the end of another journey. It's time to like whatever's like what comes now, you know. So it's like I put off life effectively for a few years there. Yes, I finished the degree. It was hard the last year, all the way up until the last year. It was easy. It was easy. I was coasting. So, you know, then I got to the end of college, and now mind you, in college I also worked 3 jobs. I was a tutor, I was a bartender, I was a limo driver, I was a server. I mean, all the stuff, and I did usually more than one of those at the same time. I usually held about 3 jobs. I worked at an art gallery. You know, I worked a bunch of odd jobs and did well, you know, at all of them. You know, if you were to look back and just look at it, you know. But it was just, again, I was just passing time, coasting through, taking the easiest route. I was taking the path of least resistance, is what I was at right there. I do not recommend doing that, by the way. I was playing small.
Let me give you some credit. You've got 3 jobs. You're finishing your career. I don't know if that's coasting, my friend. That's a lot of hard work.
It sounds surface level. That's when surface level, that sounds like a lot, but the reality is, like, I was a bartender. Like, how hard is it to be a bartender? That's a fun job. I drove limos. That was a fun job. I sold artwork. That was super easy. Like, I tutored people. Like, that was fun because I got to interact with people and like see the aha moments that like they got when they figured out how to, like, you know, algebra, for example.
Right. However, here's what I'm hearing though. And again, now I'm just listening to your words. It wasn't hard for you because you're in your passion zone, and your passion zone is people. Would you agree?
I would agree.
Yeah. And so again, bartender, hey, bartender, buy me a drink. You're around people. Limo driver, unless they put that panel up so you can't talk to them anymore, you're around people, right?
Yep.
Art gallery, you have to talk to people so they can interact and buy the paint. So you are a people person, and that comes off super, super easy to see. So you got your degree, now you're in real estate. And here's what I want to fast forward, right? Because I know your story. I want to get to the point in the story where did $100 million come from? Where again, no
super recent goal.
I know it was. And you hit it. You hit it. So we went from small town, 3 jobs, degree, to now $100 million man, team member. Tell me more.
This can full circle back into I was basically playing small again. Is really in real estate. You know, I had some good numbers and some good years in real estate, and every year over year for 10 years, I sold more real estate than I did the year before. 10 years straight. So it was like, again, surface level, like, oh, you're doing great, you're getting better, you're doing whatever, but I still didn't feel like I was achieving my full potential. Like, I felt like I was still playing small. And again, same concept as selling speakers, you know, selling the houses is kind of like, you know, the way to get further ahead is, you know, sell more, work harder, do whatever. I mean, there's ways around that for sure. Right. But the 100 million came from the idea of a team and the idea of, you know, creating more impact and creating more ripples in the pond, as it were. So I'm able as a real estate agent to serve my clients, right? And then that impacts their lives, and then they impact other people's lives, and, you know, the ripple goes out. However, if I'm able to impact other agents, they impact it. It's like putting exponents on numbers, you know. It's like it exponentially grows. Like, so now I'm helping them and they're helping their clients, and their clients are doing whatever they do. So my impact is now greater. And that kind of, that lights me up. It really does. It makes me, it excites me to know that, like, I'm not only helping the agents, because, you know, it changes their lives. And I think you could talk to any of the people on my team and they tell you that, like, I have been a, you know, big part of their life and changing their life. And, you know, them going from, you know, a small number of sales to all of them hit 10 million. I mean, it was encouraging. So we, you know, Chris, my partner Chris, and I got together and decided that, you know, we were going to partner up. So we did that. You know, he and I partnered together for a year, you know, to make sure it was a good match and make sure we were aligned. And then once we decided that we're super aligned, Chris and I, you know, different people obviously, but like super aligned in vision and super aligned in basically anything that we've ever decided we wanted to do together. It's been a true alignment there. So we decided that we were going to, you know, hire some agents to, you know, be on our team. And we set that goal at 100 million because that was a stretch for us. Okay. And also it sounded great to, like, put $100 million on a year. It was just like, as our first goal. I was like, that'd be neat. Let's go do that.
So, okay, I want to pause for a second because I want to go back to some language here. What did it feel like? What did it feel like? And I want to ask this question so that we can relate to listeners, because I know that there's listeners out there that are feeling this. What did it feel like to not be reaching your full potential? Well, I mean, what internally, what does that feel like? What did that feel like for you?
Like breathing through a pillow.
Oh, okay. Okay, tell me why that was good.
Or if you choose, imagine running in like knee deep water.
Uh-huh. So just tough to breathe, just slow as you're running through, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're getting it done. You're making progress. I can still breathe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not breathing all that I can breathe.
Right.
It's stifling.
Mm-hmm.
Restrictive. I encourage everyone to put some thought into what your vision is for yourself and your future and those around you and who you surround yourself with, especially, and put some thought into those things, and then write down what you think it's going to take to get there. And if you don't know what it's going to take to get there, seek help and get somebody that has accomplished the things that you've already accomplished and see how they did it and let them put you on the fast track.
Yeah. And I love what you did there with Chris is you're talking about your all's alignment there. And you both were drivers and pushers for each other, right? I mean, you both pushed each other to actually do more, be bigger, better, faster, stronger. And so that's a great learning lesson there also is and you just said it, who you surround yourself with matters, right?
Yeah, without question.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we've got exponential growth here by number one, you love people. Number two, you love sales. Number three, you found that you can actually leverage yourself through other people by having an impact on teaching an agent how to be in the sales space and them being on your team and exponentially growing not only themselves, but the team. And you're still in the people serving space or people impacting space. And so that fills your bucket, right?
It does. Fills my cup.
Now, let's transition here to the all important. I love coaching. Walk us through that. Where did that come from? I mean, we know your impact. We know now coaching. We know you've had success. So your success has left clues. And so now you're going to share this with the people. So talk to us about your coaching world.
So working with Matt O'Neill, who I greatly respect, a friend and mentor of mine of 10 years, almost 11. I saw that. I thought he should start a coaching business is kind of where my head was at with it. Call it 5-6 years ago. It was just like almost like an idea that won't go away. You don't know why it's there, but it was like an idea that it was just constantly kind of there in the background. Subconsciously, it was just kind of back there. So I pushed at him a couple of times, like, hey, you should do this, or you'd be great at this, or whatever. And I think subconsciously, like, yeah, I don't know. I wanted him to do it, honestly. And then I wanted to be a part of it. And then it didn't come through because, he's got so much other stuff going on. He's crushing it. He's going to sell, 500 million this year. He's working his way to $1 billion in sales. Talk about big numbers. I mean, he's on his way to $1 billion. So I love that. I love that energy, and the drive and the impact that he has on others' lives as well. It's just beautiful to see. But the getting into coaching came from, I wanted to be able to help people, and I was helping people at Matt's office with whatever they needed help with across the board. Like because I had been there the whole time from the very beginning of, when it started with Matt, Dave, and myself, all the way to, a month and a half ago, whenever I just left. I was there the entire time. So I got to see people grow, and I got to help people that needed help. And I got to, watch people. It was sometimes it was like a fun, friendly competition, when you're in sales, it's like, oh, I'm going to outsell you and I'm going to do this and that and the other. But for me, really what it was like the excitement that people got when they signed a listing, or like, I got my first paycheck, or, whatever excitement it was that they were experiencing. I just enjoyed being a part of that and knowing that, like, there are a couple nuggets of information that I may have given them that helped them get to their goals.
Right. Yeah.
So I took that, and then you had started I Love Coaching a few months back, or whenever 6 months, 9 months, a while ago. That had started, and I heard you talking about it, and I found out about it, and I was like, you've always been a mentor of mine as well. I've always looked up to you. So I'm like, well, shit, if Adam is going to do this thing, like, I'd love to be aligned with Adam in the people working space. Like, love to be aligned with Adam in that space. So that's where that started. So you've got the vision, and I had that vision subconsciously, and basically the two puzzle pieces came together, and here we are talking about it.
Yeah. Isn't it powerful? Number one, when you know what fills you up, right? So I'm sitting here just listening to your words. People fill you up. I mean, we've been saying that now for the last 20 minutes. People fill you up. And then when not only people filling you up, their growth and their ability to hear what you're saying and go put it into practice. And then when they have success, fills you up as well. And now here we are with you building a business, a coaching business inside of our coaching business to impact as many people as you can. And then also impact as many coaches as you can in your organization to keep building and impacting other clients. If you had a client in front of you right now, and they would say, Nate, what are the 5 things or 3 things that I should do to have the same success that you have had and will continue to have? What would be those 3 things, the 5 things, however many numbers you want to put on there, that you would suggest, again, you being their coach, that they go do to have similar success that you had?
I'd say that you kind of want to take an analysis of your life and where you're at right now, and figure out what your habits are, what you're doing, look at that and analyze it. And then I would say the people, again, it comes back to people, the people that you're surrounding yourself with. Are those people bringing you up? Are they filling your cup? Are they in a space that you want to be in? Are they further along than you? If they're not, maybe reassess the people that you're hanging out with. Maybe, the people you're spending your time with, get a mentor, get a coach, get, new friends, if that's what it takes. I'm not telling anybody to burn any bridges here, but like,
Sure.
You said it earlier, it's like the sum of the people, the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And that is so real. That is so real. So I would say that is super important. Take an analysis of the people that you're spending time with, and are they where you're trying to go? And if they're not, get some new people in your life. That would be super important. The other thing I would say is, get your vision. Decide where exactly it is that you want to go. Vision is so important. And as soon as you figure out where you want to go and start writing about it and thinking about it and putting energy into it, it will come to you. You will attract the things that need to be attracted to yourself in order for that vision to become a reality. I truly believe we create our own realities, and there's an infinite amount of realities out there, and all of our realities are slightly different. But we're creating it with our thoughts and with our passions and with our feeling and with the energy that we have inside.
Absolutely. So I went ahead and just kind of wrote down what you said. Audit your habits.
Yes.
Right? Understand what your habits are and then audit them. Pay attention to your environment. Your environment is massively important. And also check out having a mentor and finding a coach, right? Or even find new friends, right? And then lastly, the vision aspect is understand where that vision is and what it actually is and where it's growing to, right?
Yes. And the last part of that I would say is, don't think or play small. Anything is possible. There are limitless opportunities. All you have to do is open your eyes.
Play big. Love that, man. Well, cool. Well, where can people find Nate Gainey?
Nate Gainey. I am all over the place. I'm Nate Sells Charleston at gmail.com. I'm on Nate Gainey, or I think it's Nate.Gainey on Instagram, Nate Gainey on Facebook. Nate, what is that? Nate at I Love Coaching. I've got multiple email streams there. So you can text me. I mean, that's probably the quickest way to get in touch with me. Just shoot me a text, 843-513-2038. That'd be the quickest way.
Love it, man. That is awesome. So you can definitely go to ilovecoachingco.com, ilovecoachingco.com. Go find Nate's bio and check it out. Talk to him there. Nate, for anybody that's listening right now, here's what I want them to do. If you go to ilovecoachingco.com, that's CO there at the end, ilovecoachingco.com, and go put in that you want a free coaching call, and put it in the suggestions that you heard Nate's podcast. we'll give you a free 30-minute coaching call with either Nate or with one of our other coaches. But this will be, you know what, let's do this all for Nate. So go to ilovecoachingco.com, go where it says find a coach. You can put in there and put in this in the suggestions part, the comments part, put I Love Coaching Podcast with Nate, and we'll give you a free 30-minute coaching call. Nate, any parting words here you want to share with anybody?
Yeah, I'm going to say it again. It's all possible, and don't play small. Just do it.
Yep. Super great words there. Okay, everybody. My name is Adam Roach. I have been your I Love Coaching podcast host, and we have just heard from Mr. Nate Gainey on so many different things. Go back, re-listen. And hey, by the way, if you like this podcast, go give us a positive review in any form that you're currently listening to. And you know what? And if you didn't like it, that's okay too. You can give us a negative review. But again, we don't have many of those, Nate. We don't have any of them, actually. So go give us a review. We would love that, and continue to listen to the I Love Coaching podcast. Talk to you all soon. Take care. See you. Bye.